in Florida.
Right. And the first thing you have to do before you start talking about the legal side of it is you have to count the votes and recount the votes, right? That's when the fights really start, is that, getting a recount typically isn't that hard. The question becomes, how long does it take? Baby. When does it stop, et cetera? And that is exactly, as you point out, what happened in Florida, because the question there became, how much recounting do you do?
Nah, fam, we getting 10%
automatic recount in Florida back in 2000. But then there became questions about particular votes, undercounting votes, overcounting votes. Those became the questions in Florida, so it almost became like a round two of the recount. And I think that's what the risk is here from the legal perspective, is that you get to that point as well. I think Terry wanted
Terry, I want to bring you in because the clock starts ticking. Actually, it's ticking right now. The Electoral College is slated to meet, I think, on December 14th. And that means the states have to be prepared to send their electors. Usually it's called that safe harbor period a week before. We could start bumping up against that if you have extensive recounts and legal challenges.
That's right. There's been talk since Bush versus Gore that structure, which was from a 19th century federal law, is just too short for the recounting that you'd have to do in the states that we're talking about in a country this size, especially if we're going to do several of them. But that December 8th date is that safe harbor date. The governors of states have to certify a slate of electors to Congress, and then Congress, if they're in by
5%,
that
man, that could still shift it.
Electors as legitimate.
Okay, I'm back to not being
but basically that's what the law says. The Supreme Court used that date in 2000 to stop the counting of votes in Florida. Now, you can go past that deadline, and it just means that Congress will then decide whether or not the slate of electors you send is good or not. So tick, tick, tick, the clock is ticking. But one thing that as we look back at Bush versus Gore is worth remembering if we're going to get into these recounts and litigation. Bush versus Gore was an outlier in our law in many ways. There's a long history of law around election contests. And if you look at it, you will see that overwhelmingly courts at the federal and state and Supreme Court level have basically followed the same principle. Keep counting.
Is there any reason why that margin shrunk from 30 to 8?
And if you can discern the intent of the voter,
was it an adjustment?
Bush versus Gore said stop
the
count.
Or what? While I was on the phone.
And awarded victory to one side. And that is an outlier.
Well, and it also said don't follow any precedent here. Don't follow what we did.
Well, yeah, that weird line in there where they said because of the weird circumstances here, this case can never be precedent. Well, Justice Brett Kavanaugh just referred to it last week as good law, and it's been reused hundreds of times.
I just want to say again, and I'm saying this because I realize we're at 47 subs. That is 3 subs away from unlocking yet another emote, and I have an emote in mind.
Which I think is a very important point to make here. You can
but
argue that,
that's thanks today because of Fourth. Fourth gifted 3 tier 3 subs.
You don't want to be the one who's fighting to try to
yeah,
because now
you
Fox
be
is
the
showing
starting from the point where you
yeah, it's crazy. I can't even fathom that. Tier 3 subs. That's crazy.
Very important, even if it's razor thin close.
And it is razor thin close right now.
Big ups to Fourth.
I guess that's appropriate to the year 2020.
It's unbelievable.
Fox never changed it to 30,000.
2020, and here we are at the end of this election night, looking at a race that is as close as it can possibly be, coming down to possibly recounts
Decision
in
deaths
multiple
showing
states.
14,000.
And in the case of Pennsylvania and Michigan, we may be several days out from knowing
any kind of a decision
and any kind of a result to have a recount from.
We're still awaiting results from
Wisconsin. I don't know. It's still 95% reporting, so who knows? It could swing back to Trump. It's 49.1 to 49.4.
Wisconsin is going right now.
But
I mean, I think Joe Biden is in pretty decent shape.
We might not know for a few more days.
Brown County, my understanding is they're in Green Bay, which is a fairly purple to blue city. Maybe not a lot of vote out in the suburbs or the rural parts of that county. So look, this may wind up in the recount margin. There are some different reports about how many ballots were cast in Milwaukee County, but you know, there are not many votes left now, and I think they may have come in just far enough for Joe Biden for him to be ahead there.
Okay, Nate Silver, thanks very much. Rick Klein, remind me, because I'm having a blank at this point. I know Pennsylvania has a state legislature Republican, governor Democrat. It's split in Wisconsin as well?
It is split, and it's another one of those states where the split actually contributed to the delay that we're seeing right now, because Democrats, including the governor there, wanted to have a jump on this. But this is extraordinary to see the numbers roll in like this, because Democrats I was talking to up to about 20 minutes ago were acknowledging it's a very narrow path. The numbers coming through, and again,
Silver,
it's because of the
gentlemen.
early votes and the
And I don't understand why he's so confident when he's so wrong all the
blueness of this part of the state that makes it just an overwhelming number of late votes that are being counted very late right now that are trending for Joe Biden.
Rick Klein, thanks very much. We do have to take one more break.
But we don't know that they're all for Joe Biden yet. They're trending for Joe Biden. What the fuck does that mean? You're guessing, bro.
Republican Washington County.
Hopefully it's a real educated guess.
And added another 8,000 votes to Biden's lead. So if that gives
like
you
I
any
said in my
indication
fucking
for
freak out,
what's going to happen in
Joe
Republican
Biden authored
counties,
the
even
94
Republican
fucking
counties,
crime bill that has disproportionately locked up African Americans. He gave the eulogy.
We're just
to
waiting
a
on
segregationist. Called him one of his best friends. Was friends with him way before he died.
While we wait on Green Bay, which is outstanding currently,
has a history of trying to cut Social Security and Medicare.
I finally energized a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna do the
during the Obama presidency second term. He tried to cut it.
Ad break.
Social Security
coming to you.
Was stopped by Obama.
Live.
And Democratic Congress.
If you'd like to avoid the ads, subscribe to your Twitch Prime for free or for $5.
He's not a good person.
Uninterrupted experience as we move into the 15th hour of this insane broadcast coverage. That is pretty much endless.
How the hell can they get all different numbers, Hassan? Like, how can one get 8, one get 30, one get 20, one get 12?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it has to do with their projections, like estimation.
I mean, this is certainly in recount range.
A lot of it is. A whole lot of it. Any chance of getting Osita back on? No. My man said he's tired, dude.
Get Osita back on, bro. He's probably East Coast.
Ooh,
it's
USA
fucking
Today
2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning for him. Oh, dude, I fucked up my neck when I was dancing that first song when we thought he was winning. Wait, did they call it?
Okay.
Did they call Michigan for him? Is it official?
Especially around the counties, also around
Detroit. Or I mean
Joe
Wisconsin.
Biden
I mean,
can
not Michigan.
hopefully run up the score there.
No,
if
not
he
yet.
wants to win Michigan, it's still unclear. There's still a lot of time. They have to count those votes. But right here, you can see 43%.
Green Bay's absentee ballot results are being
Just
delayed
about
because
5
one of the
a.m.
vote
here in
counting
these
machines
225
ran out of
electoral
ink,
votes for Joe Biden,
and an election
213
official had to run
for
to
Donald
City Hall
Trump.
to get
I'm actually
more.
going to go home and take a shower now before Good Morning America. I know many of you are going to be doing the same thing.
That's
but
funny.
Our coverage is going to continue here on
Wait, Michigan is coming in?
Wait.
To Michigan.
So close.
If they're able to, if Joe's a,
You good?
That was a nice complete thought, Austin. Hey, were you talking to your mom, by the way? Were you dealing
My
her
poor
goat?
mom is having a breakdown because she looks at CNN and she doesn't understand like the distribution of where the votes came from, how much is left, the mail-in ballot delay. She just looks at the percentages and completely just doesn't know what to do, doesn't know where the votes are coming from, doesn't know what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
It's like being in a plane where you're not in the cockpit and the plane is just rumbling towards the ground, but you don't realize that like the pilot's going to pull up at the last second, that sort of thing.
Nose
Right?
diving.
Right? Like you just in like an uncontrollable nosedive and you don't know like when it's going to stop or if it's going to stop. Like you think it could stop. But like the only difference between her and us is that like we just have some data to maybe think that the pilot's could see maybe he's going to pull up.
I'm just imagining that scene, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, where he's like, and the rowers are still rowing, and the danger's surely growing. And they're all like traumatized.
I'm nervous about Green Bay, but like, oh man, is there a world where Green Bay is just insane for Republican ballots? I mean,
look it up. How did Green Bay go in 20? And how did it go in 2018?
Green Bay.
Also, in
there's a pretty heavy
in 1 hour, they're gonna start counting in Pennsylvania again. Right?
So where's Brown County? Give me Brown. So currently,
oh, do you run an ad, Hassan? Top of the hour every hour. Here on the Hasanabi podcast. Hasanabi election coverage. You get hit with a fucking ad. Okay? He's too busy eating tenders, so I'll do it for him. If you want to avoid that ad, use your fucking Twitch Prime. Or you subscribe.
So this is the deal.
Oh, sorry.
Hassan, it seems as if anything, these mail-in ballots are a correction, as I said earlier, a correction to Trump's 2016 leads. Like, you know how you said Trump's gaining and Biden's gaining, but like, so it seems like that mail-in ballot, especially with Kenosha, adjusted the county to trend to where it sort of was in 2016, right? So if you look at Brown County, in 2016, it was 52%. Currently, Trump's got it by at 57%. So the hope is that those mail-in ballots will dude, I'm so sorry. I'm losing my train of thought. The hope is that those mail-in ballots will trend Democratic in some fashion. Oof. All right. New results came into Michigan. That's decision desk, though. We don't know.
Okay. What do they say?
They currently Biden's lead, Trump's lead in Michigan has shrunk to 74,153 with 80% of the vote in, I think.
Michigan has so much more still.
Yeah, they've got a lot. Yeah. In my opinion, Michigan looks even better than Wisconsin. A lot better than Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It did.
Michigan
it really
great
did. That's why I said he was going to lose Wisconsin, is because Michigan and Pennsylvania looked more realistic to me.
Did
10K where?
I mean, obviously
in Michigan?
Both voted to the right in 2016, but did Michigan vote relatively to the left?
I got to get something to eat real quick. I need something to snack on.
Fucking hate the Packers too in Wisconsin. Just make me hate them even more.
So as I said already, Wisconsin was 0.8. Michigan, on the other hand, in 2016 was even smaller margins. Donald Trump won Michigan by 0.2% of the vote.
Okay, so it's even a smaller margin.
An even smaller margin. And this is something people forget. Like, Like, people think Trump blew, Clinton's back out. Like, no, he won, like, Michigan by 0.2.
Just when I think I'm off the copium.
He won Michigan by 0.2. Now, Biden's polling average coming into today was 7.9%. 7.9%.
Vegan burger.
Obviously not doing as well so far.
I need a napkin. Fuck.
And the Wisconsin average was even higher than that, with 8%. So, judging by how fucking broken the Wisconsin polling average is, who knows what Michigan's going to look like. So
53 to 55%, which will shatter the record that's been set here for 20 years. So Detroiters did show up to the polls. Michiganders did show up to the polls in record numbers. But again, we're not going to know the full picture of what happens here until at least a few days from now.
Americans showed up at the polls this one. Steve Patterson.
I sure did.
Thank you so much for staying up all night for us. Really appreciate it. Let's turn to Maura Barrett. She's been with us all night, too. She's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Man,
of course,
a little more nerve-wracking
because we are watching so closely this hour, Maura, and remind us again, Pennsylvania as a whole is going to be counting absentee and mail-in ballots for several days per the Supreme Court.
Green Bay.
Exactly, Kate. So a state law prior to Election Day had ruled that any ballots that are postmarked by Election Day, so anytime yesterday before 8 p.m. they are sent in, they'll continue counting them as they come in anytime before Friday at 5 p.m. And so we went into Election Day knowing that it was likely Pennsylvania would not be called because election officials in all 67 counties will be processing and counting ballots throughout the next 3 days. So we still have quite a ways ahead of us, Kate. But I'm standing outside of the warehouse here in Allegheny County where they were counting ballots until early hours this morning. About 2 a.m. the county decided to take a break. These 200 workers that were processing ballots decided to take some rest because they've been going nonstop since 7 a.m. They were originally had told us that they were going to be working nonstop but in shifts, but this was the same group of people that had been working all day. And what we've been hearing from election officials across the state prior to Election Day is that they were not going to trade speed over accuracy, and that's what we're seeing exemplified here. Allegheny County will restart counting and reporting their ballots at 10 a.m.
And is there a thought, Maura, that some of those ballots that are being counted now, the mail-in ballots, might be different than what we're seeing when we look at the numbers so far for Allegheny County?
Absolutely, and that's the picture that we're seeing mostly across the state as well. There were nearly 3 million mail-in ballots requested across Pennsylvania, and when you look at how the voter registrations played out, 2 million of those were Democratic. And so the Joe Biden campaign definitely leaning on waiting to see how these mail-in ballots are going to come in because we were expecting that they would lean Democratic. That leaves about 6 million registered voters that did vote, that could have voted in person yesterday, so we'll see how those numbers ultimately come in. But on the other side, the Donald Trump campaign really focusing on getting their in-person turnout, and especially in those more rural conservative counties in the center part of the state, hoping to balance out whatever margins Joe Biden might be able to eat into in these coming days as we get these results, especially in Philadelphia and Allegheny counties.
All right. Maura Barrett, thanks so much for sticking with us. Appreciate it.
Let's
go to Susan Del Percio. I think she's with us now. We tried to,
go
to go to her a little bit
our
earlier.
Michigan count
she's
was
with the Lincoln Project.
Earlier.
She's a Republican strategist. Susan, nice to see you. Thanks for staying up. I don't know if maybe you got a nap in. I sure didn't.
Overreported by a little bit.
No, not yet. So, look, as we head into Wednesday morning now, there were folks who thought that Joe Biden might have, Vice President Biden might have sealed the deal last night, that it might have been over that quickly. I think there are some Democrats who are disappointed that it wasn't. But where do you see the state of play as we head into the morning?
Well, Kate, I should tell you that I was one of those people that I thought at this hour we would have seen a decisive win for Joe Biden. But we're not in a bad position when we're looking as far as Joe Biden goes. When you're looking at
Joe Biden's going to win Florida and Texas. I know it.
for Joe Biden,
for Hillary
but it does look like it's trending that way.
I did as
with
well.
The majority of the vote in. And that's a pickup. That's good news for Biden. I think that there were Democrats and some Republicans like myself who were hoping to see Georgia, which still could flip, but it's less likely, or North Carolina bring some early news
Austin?
that would have led us to
Biden
believe
that
Biden would have won. But we still have Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania in play. And Michigan, we just saw another. Wisconsin, we just saw Milwaukee.
People are saying turnout in Detroit is incredible.
Is leading in votes just by 11,000, but this race is far from over. And just when you start doing
Have they counted that yet?
It's worth noting that it is possible that Joe Biden can still get to 270 without Pennsylvania.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. If Vice President Biden does become president, what happens to the Republican Party? Who is the standard bearer? Because there's such a split. You represent the split from President Trump. What happens next?
I'm not sure. To be honest, like I said, I was hoping for a decisive Joe Biden victory, and that would have helped lead to the end of Trumpism.
100%. That's why I voted for it.
Shut the
fuck
up.
It's still alive. And
dude, these people are charlatans.
Take the W if you get it. God, just fucking be happy with whatever you fucking get.
People are charlatans, okay? These people who are like, it was going to be an end to Trumpism with a devastating defeat. Like, no. You are fundamentally misunderstanding the Republican Party. And I don't know if it's deliberate or I don't know if it's because you're just a fucking idiot. Like, how? Looking at Donald Trump's performance in this election cycle show you that Trumpism is Republicanism.
Yeah.
That's it. You're just a regular Republican. Nope. Actually, I take that back. You're more effective than a regular Republican because more people seem to like it when you openly state that you're doing the racist shit. You're a regular Republican, but in a way that, like, you know, working class average Joes can understand. Stop saying he's unique. He's not fucking unique. He's never been unique. He's just as out of touch with the needs of the working class as every fucking Republican is, okay?
Well. They're like, I'm not educated enough to respond to that.
No, I will. Feel
I've been talking about that shit all night.
If they can put a bow on Wisconsin,
delusional charlatans.
You know, at least I know it's probably going to be a recount, but at least fucking put a bow on it tonight, so I can at least put that in my fucking mental, and then move on to the next state. You know.
How do you feel if he goes up in Michigan soon?
Dude, I will. It's over.
Does your penis get a little hard?
If he, I'm touching myself right now.
Gross.
If he goes, if he holds on to Wisconsin and wins Michigan, that's. Oh, we don't know what's happening in Nevada. Is Nevada it over? God, please just fucking win.
Someone say they called it.
No, Nevada's not over. Okay, hold
on. If he wins Wisconsin and Michigan and Nevada, it's 270 flat. Like literally 270.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Whew. Even with Maine, too.
Hold on.
Which is the most important part of the election.
Here we go. So. What am I missing here on this map?
Why do people keep adding
Wait, what do you mean, Charlie? Sorry, I was looking at fucking Instagram for a second. Sorry to see if there was any good takes on there.
Michigan.
Did I miss something? What do you mean?
Arizona, Nevada, And it's only at 260. What am I missing?
I get what you mean, but I don't get the specific example you're alluding to.
I got it.
I'm burping a lot. Oh my god.
Tony Gunks, your weenie is dying. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Is Maine like a total of 7 or something? I got Wisconsin on here. I don't know what the hell's going on. Let me reset the map. Okay.
By the way, you know what the funniest part about all
this
is?
Did you lock Hawaii, Austin?
You know what? You want to know what the funniest part about all this is? That they're gonna blame Bernie Bros for Florida. And wait, they're gonna say Florida was lost to the Democrats because of how socialist Bernie Sanders is. If they haven't started already, get ready for some of that good shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
God, I hate the Democratic Party.
Me too.
Biden is now leading in the
So that would be 270 on the mark.
To 29.3.
Holy shit.
In Milwaukee County, home
270
to the city
on the
of
mark.
Milwaukee. That's going to be very significant when it comes. If we could flip back to the state
unless
numbers
Trump
again,
was able to squeak
when it
out
comes to looking
Nevada.
at the state of Wisconsin.
But Biden, hey, look, I got faith in Georgia.
By 0.3
Georgia.
percentage points. Again, this is still too close to call per NBC News standards. Only 89%
The whole
vote in.
day through.
But that Milwaukee County vote
Just to
is
know
helping Joe
Michigan
Biden.
have so many fucking votes it needs to count.
Very
Answer yourself right now before you get permanently banned.
Let's go to Carol Lee, who's covering the Biden campaign for us. And
Explain if you're being a troll or not. I don't care you're 50 months a subscriber or not. Explain exactly your reasoning currently.
Wow. Nice.
This is why you said that before you get permanently banned from the channel. In front of 138,000 people. Go.
Space is far from over, and it's this. And frankly,
It was a troll.
Campaign and the Trump campaign, albeit in a very different way, have been preparing their supporters for this scenario, a scenario in which.
What are we gonna do about Trudeau's blackface, though? I'm just joking.
And then waiting for those mail-in
But
ballots.
I think we all know Trudeau is pretty shitty to the indigenous people of Canada and oil pipelines.
The vice president's campaign, what they're saying now is that this is a quote.
Not that much different from Obama, how shitty Obama was.
This to take some time. They've been aware of that from the beginning, but for them, all their focus is on that blue wall, everything you've just been talking about, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and also a little bit on the
at
Sun
least
Belt,
he
where
can't
you
be
still
favored
have
by
outstanding North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. Arizona is critical. The Biden campaign would very much like to flip that state. President Trump won it in 2016.
Because Fox News is
but
a
now
little
it's a
literal
waiting
propaganda
game and
arm of
potentially
the
a legal
fucking
game, as
right
we
wing
heard from the
of
president
the
last
White-
night, falsely
White
claiming
House
that he had
administration.
won. And so the Biden campaign is geared up for that, but really waiting to see these updates from those key states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I remember.
Thank you for that update.
I didn't learn a lot, but when Dakota Access Pipeline was going on here in America, I remember learning about some different pipeline, Keystone Pipeline, shit like that, how that was going on in Canada too.
Oh, really? I'm not hearing anything. Sorry. Oh, I have something running in the background. I barely can hear you.
My bad. No worries.
No, it's my fault. I'm sorry. I have NBC News running in the background right now. Biden kazanırsa peşin fiyatını alacak. Ulan seni var ya. Tüh. Utan. Dünyanın amına koyduk biz burada hala PlayStation 5 soruyorsun. Ay amına koyayım ya. Bir de dangalak gitti. Gitti bir de has kapitali koyuyor üstüne.
What are the Turks saying about PlayStation?
That's all they care about, dude. I'm like, bro, the world is gonna fucking catch on fire. Meanwhile, you're over here asking, like, how much is the PlayStation gonna cost?
Are they asking you to watch the PlayStation event?
No, he's just like, dude, it's a big deal in Turkey. Okay, the dollar is 8. So our economy in Turkey is just entirely relying on, how favorable the American government's opinion is of Turkey. Oops, Donald Trump not happy with Erdogan. Boom, dollar is 8 lira. Now, of course, economists will maul when I say this. Like all the Econ 101 boys are like, they get angry when I say this. They're like, that's not how it works. Like as though there's no currency manipulation with the United States. Bana bir PlayStation 5 gönder, alamıyorum amına koyayım. Abi careyim, ben de alamıyorum abi. Yarrağı yedik. The conversion went from 3 lira to 1 USD to 8 lira to 1 USD in 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there's no manipulation there. 840 now. So PlayStations are incredibly expensive. On a PlayStation Fiat.
But what does this healthcare plan mean for my PlayStation?
No. They don't give a shit about any of that. They like.
No, I know.
They always ask like, so what's up? Who likes turkey more? Is it Trump or is it Biden? You know, because Biden has said stuff like, I'm gonna fuck the Turks up, shit like that. So they're like scared. They think that Biden is gonna make the dollar into like 16 lira. You know what I mean? Vallahi amınıza koydu. Biden gelip 16'ya 2'ye katlayacak amına koyayım doları. Yarrağı yediniz lan. Taşak geçiyorum ama ciddiye almayın. Just...
Seems like election coverage might be winding down for the night. I don't think we're gonna find out Michigan or Pennsylvania for a few days.
Saying there's no global warming. We're about to all hold a dick as the entire world. But this dude whose pussy and ass I fucked, Turks, keeps saying PS5. These fucking morons, all of them.
Holy shit. Oh my God, look at the Senate, dude. Fuck.
Many of those are female Republican newly elected members of Congress.
Wait, what happened? Let me see the Senate. I need to see that again. That's bad. I saw a brief moment of the Senate. Oh my God, bro. A Biden presidency with a Republican Senate is just gonna mean a bunch of Republican ass shit's gonna get passed.
Dolu sana yaratırım yani. Kendine gelemezsin. Al yarağı gösteririm, kendine gelemezsin. Madem Türksün gösterirsin. Could Nate still be the most successful grifter in modern history? I just really love his confidence. Like, he has that classic, like, I'm a STEM lord confidence. Or he's just like a degenerate gambler. He is. He's literally just a degenerate gambler who says, I know what I'm talking about because I did the math. And he keeps losing the money. But because he's so confident in the way that he says he's done the math, and because math is overall complicated, you're just like, maybe he knows. He looks kind of nerdy. You know what I mean? Like, he looks nerdy enough. He seems like the kind of guy who would do the math or know the math. Oh, new Clark County numbers are in. Joe Biden's lead over Donald Trump is now narrowed to 0.8 percentage points.
In Nevada?
Yup. Joe Biden is now at 49.40.
What's left?
I don't know, but
that's my county, bro.
Joe Biden's numbers in Nevada now look Joe Biden's numbers now look 587,775 votes. Donald Trump is at 587,849 votes.
Well, that's uncomfortably close.
Told you. Remember what I said
that's wrong.
Night?
That doesn't make sense. That means Trump is ahead. I think they fucked up the numbers.
Is that probably 5,878,000?
No,
490.
No. That's crazy.
That's too many numbers she typed.
No, I think she meant 578,000 versus 587,000.
Well, let's see if that's correct, because that's election deaths numbers. So hopefully, maybe that's wrong. Be wrong, please. I just don't know. I mean, there's 13%.
Yeah, no, dude. It's 500,000. Like 5 million people aren't voting in Nevada.
Oh, I know, but I know. But
we have the House already, though.
Nevada to be counted.
That's the thing. We were trying to get the Senate too, but doesn't look like we're getting the Senate.
67% so far.
But maybe, hopefully, we gained more in the House and didn't lose.
This race is no longer a lock for the Democrats.
No, it's not 67%. They're like more like between 87 and 99%.
I don't think Michigan or Pennsylvania is going to go up anymore tonight. We'll get
never mind.
Nevada
There's still
by
mail-in ballots.
What the fuck? How's Nevada not done yet? How are we not done? That's bullshit. We should be done.
Percentage counted in Nevada.
They haven't been counted at all?
No mail-ins have been counted yet in Nevada. Redneck'e selam, Trump ile devam. Redneck'e selam, Trump ile devam. Another Green Bay update.
God, Mitch McConnell just fucking die
ballots
already,
have been counted,
bro.
and they are in transit to the Brown County clerk, who will report them.
Oh God!
Here it comes. Brace for impact.
Wait, what?
I'm getting cold. Like I'm getting shivers. Decision desk says 587,775 for Biden and 578,498 for Trump, with 87% in. Remaining mail-ins likely to favor Biden.
How many does it say? 587.
Wait.
Oh, Philly is also updated. Philadelphia City Commission.
What do you mean?
Schmidt just announced that the results that 65,000 additional. Holy shit!
We don't know.
Because you mean because the other party says the other parties have two seats?
Is that true? Is this dude right? What's the breakdown there?
Like independents?
Well, yeah, we
because Bernie is one of those actually, so that's kind of true.
Like 57,000 of those went to Biden.
I don't know who the other one is. Yeah. Okay.
How drunk is this
That would be huge.
I'm tired. I didn't even drink. I was gonna drink, and then I didn't have any time to. It kind of sucks.
I felt good drinking earlier. Now I just feel kind of sluggish.
I was excited. You know, I was gonna celebrate.
Like I want to
or
take
maybe
this
get
stuff
really
off.
sad.
I'm hot.
And what ended up happening?
I have a new shirt that my girlfriend
It's much
made.
worse.
It says "Abolish ICE" on it.
Where I have no.
I like this outfit. I feel
I
like
have
the
no
drip
clothes.
is tight.
I got no.
Sick looking.
This is by far,
ravioli. Give me the voterolis.
and this is such an interesting election. It's like the map is all over the place. Like you got Georgia in striking distance for Biden. You got Wisconsin, Biden barely hanging on by the skin of his teeth. I mean, you got Nevada.
This is the fight for the soul of our nation.
It's just weird to me. Georgia voting to the left of Nevada would be the craziest shit ever.
Bro, I speak like a lick of Turkish in the chat, and every Turkish person is like now trying to talk to me in Turkish. And I just can't stop reading it.
And that's okay.
They're just like, abi FETÖ kime oy verdi? Like, dude, what are you... Alcatraz soğuktur. Okay, you guys gotta stop. Ya yapmayın etmeyin oğlum ya. Zaten kafam karıştı. Devamlı Türkçe'ye döndürüyorsunuz beni burada. Arkadaşlarla İngilizce konuşacağım ve Türkçe konuşmaya başlayacağım. Amına koyayım, ağzıma sıçtınız ha. Yeter. Kullandım evet oy. Biz reise vermedik oyu.
Damn, 67% left reporting here.
Ülke ocaklarını kuruyoruz Los Angeles'ta arkadaşlar. Bernie Sanders için ülke ocaklarını kuruyoruz.
I think we lost some seats though. We had a far greater majority.
Florida Belediyesi bizim. So dumb.
In 2018,
so
we
dumb.
saw a huge blue
They're
wave
memeing
in our
so
Congress
stupid,
because a
dude.
bunch
I
of
can't
progressives
stop
ran.
laughing.
People that were backed by Bernie Sanders from his money that he got from his raised in his campaign in the 2016 election. He spent that on backing a lot of progressive people like AOC, Ilhan
New
Omar,
lurker
Rashida
follower.
Tlaib,
Care to elaborate on the new
Ayanna
QAnon
Presley,
senator?
among others.
What?
And
There's a QAnon
that's why
senator.
this
What
election,
is-
what did they do? They
what?
ran a bunch of centrists.
I think there's a QAnon representative. Is there a
They
senator?
wanted to win over those Republicans that might vote for Biden because he's just not as rude on Twitter.
Oğlum bu gerizekalı Türklerin bazıları böyle biz reisi seviyoruz, Trump'ı seviyoruz falan
Fuck
diyorlar.
those
Bu
Republicans.
yarak kafalılar anlamıyor ki.
Exactly.
3
Alright,
dolardan
dude. Fuck
8 dolara Trump'ın altında çıktı amına koyayım. Lira ne zaman? 1 dolar ne zaman 8
Bernie
lira
was
oldu?
gonna awaken the
Hangi başkan
masses in this
8 lira
country
yaptı
that do
doları?
not vote.
Gerizekalı.
Where is it?
Abi Biden daha kötü yapacak abi. Salak salak konuşuyorsunuz amına koyayım. Kim yaptı oğlum? Kim yaptı doları? 8 lira? Ha? Biden mı yaptı? Sallama. Bu bizim reisin mallığı. Tek başına çalışmıyor amına koyayım. Gün geçiden beri izliyorum. Geçme
Okay, bro, I don't
Amerikalıcı
care about all
Türkler
this
abi.
Turkey. Like,
Geçmem
you're talking to your
Türkleri.
Turkish fans, bro. Talk to
Okay.
me about what's going on. No, I'm just joking. He has to address his homies. I need to... Oh, I got myself water. What am I talking about?
Geçme Türkiye Amerikalı için önemli bir gün. Oh man. Anyway. Bro, this is the funniest American cope. Listen, man. Our democracy is crumbling in front of the entire world stage. Okay? Let me speak Turkish for a little bit, all right? I'll get back to you. You hear me? Oh, alienating
That's
90%
so
of
funny.
your
I was
viewers by
joking when I
speaking in a
said that.
different
That guy in
language.
the
I'm
chat's probably being
sorry.
serious.
I only know how to speak one language. Like, chill the fuck out.
Speculation is that
Oops.
What is it? What is
Biden may have won by that 57,000 vote margin. I don't know if that person is just speculating based on the tweet that's of that random dude below that tweet, but
Let's look through Twitter. Let's see if there's anything new.
how the 65,000 Philadelphia votes? What? That guy was wrong.
Let's see what Breonna Joy Gray, one of the top people in Bernie's campaign, was.
For something
I
and
forget her
not just
position.
against Donald Trump.
Nice, dude. I think I saw, yeah, I did see you post a tweet about that, I think, the other day. About you releasing an EP. I'm excited to hear it. I'd love for you to post that shit in the Discord, and I will check it out. Maybe we'll listen to it on stream, bro. That'd be fun. But what is Breonna Joy Gray? I was asked what my final advice to Biden would be. All right.
Trump.
So if you were personally advising Joe Biden, what would you be telling him to do in these final days of the campaign? Is there a closing argument you believe he should be making?
Queen, dude, Breonna Joy Gray.
Yeah, I think that Americans want to know that they're voting for something and not just against Donald Trump. And largely his campaign has been floating along on the tide of dissatisfaction with Donald Trump and the way that he's handled this crisis in the economy. So I think that it's been helpful to Joe Biden. He's been able to pull it out regardless of not offering very much. But if people really believe that this election is as important as they say it is, if Democrats really believe that Donald Trump is the existential threat that they claim he is, that he is a proto-fascist, and that we are looking down a dark path of history, then I think it's incumbent on Joe Biden to do every single thing that he can to shore up the vote among his base. And that includes offering positive prescriptions for policies that are overwhelmingly popular. Again, 88% of Democrats support Medicare for all. 2/3 of Americans support marijuana legalization, regardless of political affiliation. And in light of the protests in the streets and the recent shootings that have galvanized them again, I think it will go a long way if Joe Biden stops saying law and order as much as he talked about the need to reform our criminal justice system and talked about some of the root causes for the imbalance, including the consequences of his 94 crime bill and all the people who are in jail right now because of marijuana crimes.
All right, Brianna Joy Gray, thank you so much for joining us.
Based.
Michigan, Hillary got 519K. Wayne County, Biden is only at 241K in Wayne right now. Bili yolları yokuştur, kafaları tokuştur.
There's a lot out in Michigan still, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I don't think we'll find out what's going on in Michigan tonight, my friend.
I think so. I mean, at least we'll see the trend.
Well, they are rolling out the cuties on NBC today. What's going on?
All of those places are still counting the votes as we speak.
Hassan, God, such a fucking coomer, dude.
Receive election results for a few days in some of those places.
And to note, in Arizona, as we just said when we went through the graphics, we have not at NBC News yet projected a winner in Arizona, although I'm aware that other networks and other news outlets have.
Wisconsin was close in 2004 and 2000.
Crystal ball for us. Do you think we're going to see legal challenges? Do you think we'll see the president come out and speak again, or do you think maybe they'll wait a while and let people whose job it is to count votes?
That is certainly what this president is foreshadowing. As we saw him do last night, he falsely and prematurely declared victory and said that he wanted the Supreme Court to essentially disenfranchise millions of Americans who legally cast their vote before Election Day via absentee mail-in voting. That being said, that's actually not how this process works. The president cannot make a direct appeal to the Supreme Court. That needs to be done through the state courts initially. It is possible that we will see a legal challenge right away on a state level. But look, if the president loses,
it's not a bunch of crap. I bet it's beautiful music, Charlie.
Right now, then it might not even come down to a place like Pennsylvania, where we are waiting on those votes to be counted or challenged by the president. Because if Joe Biden wins Georgia, then that makes this whole conversation moot. Potentially he pulls out North Carolina as well. So there's a number of different scenarios here that we're waiting on. But I think what we can say and what everyone should try to ensure and try their best to do is really uphold, small d democracy and make sure that every single vote is tallied and counted, and that election officials have the necessary and proper time to do so. I've spoke with numerous election officials. They're nonpartisan. They're doing their best to be as quick and accurate as possible, despite what the president claims.
I haven't had a chance to see what's the headline on the Washington Post front page this morning.
The headline is that that this presidential race is in limbo at the moment.
The love of my life just called me a colonizer for trying to steal some of her water.
We make time for another quick break right now as we continue our Decision 2020 election night.
Bro, am I crazy? Or are they taking a lot of breaks?
Her water, it was like so frozen and nice looking in the fridge. I was like, oh, I want it.
No, it's not.
And at night sometimes, like, she'll bring us both in like waters from the freezer, but last night some nights it's only hers. And like I ran out of my water bottle, so I took her frozen bottle and like poured some in mine. But she has a whole fucking one of these things, a hydro flask. It's even bigger, full as well, but it's like an extra thing of water. So I'm like, she's got her water. I'm out. Let me take it. But she calls me a freaking colonizer, bro.
obviously the lead that Joe Biden has is horrible in comparison to the the fucking polling aggregates. I mean, god damn. Like, this is a story about how bad pollsters are. They have no content, you have content.
75,000 mail-in ballots to be counted in Clark County in Nevada. Likely to favor Democrats.
Wow, New York Times refusing to call Arizona for Trump. Refusing to call Arizona for Biden. And they're also refusing to call Nevada for Biden as well. Well, both of them are very close. John Ralston. There are tens of thousands of mail ballots still to be counted in Clark. 337 have been counted. At least 413 have been returned. 75K or so. These have dramatically favored the Dems so far by more than 2-1. Biden should do well here. There are also tens of thousands of provisional ballots in urban Nevada. And some in the rurals. Less sure of that mix, but the Clark mail, if it follows the previous pattern, may be enough for Biden. By the way, Biden's lead is now below 8K as Little Lander County reported.
John Ralston is such a fucking shill. The worst. Liberal party hack, bro.
Okay. I think I'm done for the night, dude.
You don't want to wait for Green Bay?
When is the Green? Okay, I'll wait for Green Bay. But after Green Bay, I have to go to sleep.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Because I'm dying. My chest hurts.
Breaking news. Oregon, through their ballot initiatives, decriminalized possession of all drugs, including cocaine, heroin, meth, for personal use. What the fuck? That's crazy. What the fuck? Dude, that's insane. Party time. Good thing, dude, it's good. People should not be thrown in jail for that shit.
Like some won't call it and then others will. I don't know. An AP called Arizona an hour ago. I just don't understand why they would call it if it was going to be close. You know?
Corey Bush and Jamal both in the next level.
Corey Bush won. That's tight.
I can't let you go. She's looking at herself on television right now.
There is no way that we are ever going to allow people to tear us down, to see us cry, not, out of pain, to ever make us feel like our certificate is less than theirs.
Another world is possible. Yes, it is possible.
Trump told her, all of them, to go back home to their own countries at one point. So, yeah. At least Joe Biden doesn't say that.
To legislate justice and accountability. People over profits. Joy over trauma. Freedom over fear. Yes, it is possible to write budgets that actually value Black lives.
It does not matter how much I disagree or how much it incenses me or how much I feel that people are dehumanizing others. I will not do that myself. I will not allow people to change and create hatred in our hearts.
Their party is in shambles right now. They've got the squad leading their party. They are a mess. These four
we wish
people, the
it's
squad.
Not the truth, though.
Weak minds and leaders challenge loyalty to our country in order to avoid challenging and debating the policy. This president does not know how to make the argument that Americans do not deserve health care. He does not know how to defend his policies. So what he does is attack us personally. And that is what this is all about.
Corey Bush, Jamal Brown, wow. Mondaire Jones, I don't know who that is.
It is historic that this year of all years, we're sending a black working class single mother.
Corey Bush, that is a good story right there, man.
Who's been fighting for black lives from Ferguson all the way to the halls of Congress.
2018 was just the beginning when my sisters in the squad were able to win their positions. Now we're more than doubling up in terms of those who are coming in with an unapologetically progressive platform rooted in
doubling up. I don't know about that.
Racial and economic justice.
Maybe.
This vision fills me with so much hope, and it's a future worth fighting for. And I know that when we fight together, we win.
That's nice. Is Hassan still streaming, or did he end? He wants to end. They want to keep going, though.
Comfort, but I feel like you're feeling pretty good, right?
No.
Well, no.
Well, I don't know, because a lot of people saw Lil Pump in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they might have changed their vote last second and decided to mail it out, you know?
They went and saw Little Pimp, and they went, hey, he's great. Little Pimp, give it up for him. Everybody loves him. Trump 2020. Can't argue with it.
I'm going to throw up. Holy shit.
Are you all right?
No, I am not all right. I've never streamed this long before. It's fucking 16 hours nonstop.
Do you want to just get off?
No, I want to wait for Green Bay,
but Green Bay has reported 31,891 absentee ballots and 15,494 in-person voting. So 31,891. They had a total of 47,385
rookie numbers, bro.
Of that.
Back in the day when I was doing GTA roleplay as Rick Grimes in the zombie apocalypse, I could go like 10
once we get
plus
the number,
hours.
usually the numbers come first, and
nothing,
then the distribution
dude.
follows.
I would look at the time and be like, "Whoa, we're at 10 hours." I'm like, I should stand up or something, go drink some water. Nowadays, that's not how it is.
Biden's gonna win.
Like, I have a blast on stream nowadays, but it's nothing like as getting as lost in a character for fucking
Wisconsin,
10 hours, dude.
And Michigan.
I'm nervous about Arizona. Do you think we should be nervous about Arizona?
It's close. Yeah, definitely be nervous. Hassan, enough about the fucking states that don't matter. What about Maine 2? Where's Maine 2 going, Hassan?
I think Maine 2.
Stay.
Yeah. So it really comes down to whether or not he can pull out his lead in some of these Midwestern states like Pennsylvania and Michigan. Now, I had the pleasure to talk to perhaps the foremost expert on Michigan politics, Michael Moore, one of the few people who accurately predicted the outcome of 2016 on my podcast, Bad Faith, the other night. And he said he was a little bit worried based on what he's seeing on the ground and the fact that the Biden campaign hasn't spent more time in the state.
Is there anything that might give the Biden campaign pause heading into Tuesday?
Yeah, Donald Trump obviously pushed through with door knocking and has knocked millions of doors where the Biden campaign opted not to do that kind of in-person outreach because of the virus. So it's really up in the air. It's difficult to tell what's going to happen on the day of in terms of voting.
A part of what did help President Trump get elected was that many of Bernie Sanders' more progressive supporters did not come out to vote for Hillary Clinton. So what do you
Not
believe
true.
the Trump camp
False.
is doing if they want to try and have a repeat of 2016?
Well, that's actually a pretty common misnomer. In fact, Bernie Sanders supporters in 2016 voted for Hillary Clinton at a pace that far outstripped the rate at which Hillary Clinton supporters in 2008 supported Barack Obama. Bernie Sanders supporters repeatedly fall in line, and yet they continue to get blamed for the failures of the Democratic Party. And right now you can see Joe Biden acting on that false impulse, perhaps, continuing to punch left and criticize the progressives, including a lot of Black and Latino voters that form the base of the Democratic Party, and instead go out of his way to make outreach to moderate Republicans, including indicating that he would include John Kasich as a member of his administration. So if there's any way for him to trip this up, it would be to try to depress the vote among his own people, for Joe Biden to end up suppressing the vote of his own base by wantonly kind of disregarding the extent to which overwhelming majorities of Americans across the aisle support broad progressive policies like a single-payer healthcare system, legalizing marijuana, canceling student debt, and having recurring monthly payments for COVID relief.
Brianna Joy Gray was probably going to be his press secretary or something up there, man. She was going to be very high in the cabinet. Oh, man. Ugh. What's up? Is Bernie going to run again in 4 more years? Probably not. Even though he looks sexier than ever. He looks really good every day. Every time I see him, he looks younger. But I think this was his last time. We just gotta wait for AOC. Drugs. Cocaine. Yes. Yeah. Oh, what? Psilocybin mushrooms, let's go. Tripping out. Washington, D.C., let's go, baby. Wait, what was that? Hold on. It criminalized it. While the initiative doesn't legalize the drugs, it makes stopping the cultivation, distribution, possession, and use of certain plant-based psychedelics. Oh my god. Neighbor. Actually, my lady was just talking about us possibly moving there. So it's legal now. Woo! I can get weed there.
are the people that run the world. It's not some shadowy secret society. It's the very people you'd think. Politicians, the ultra-rich, military contractors, monarchs, media moguls. Hi, I'm Sean Morrow, the host of Who Is the Podcast, the first podcast.
The fuck, TYT? Why are you clouding my feed like that? The polls had Biden up by 8 points or so in Wisconsin going into this election. Woo! The ghost of Democratic past. Woo! 88,000 black people who voted in 2012 stayed home in 2016 because, according to them, the Democratic Party didn't offer real change. The Democratic Party's answer in 2020 to the existential threat of Trump, the nothing will fundamentally change candidate. Woo! Man, too bad. Brianna Joy Gray, BJG. Damn, loving the acronym, Queen. Glad she is still just constantly spitting facts every day. To the point to where when even Bernie endorsed Joe Biden and she didn't, Bernie and it was asked about it, Bernie was like, she's not on the payroll anymore. And he was like, because Bernie, from the very beginning, has said he's going to back whoever the nominee was. We all just thought it was going to be him. Is Hassan going still? Oh no, he's done. Look at him, bro.
This is fun. This is a dream.
Damn, dude, he held over 100,000 all night.
Very happy. I have very little alienation from my labor. And I hope I can give that to other people one day as well.
Give it to me, Hassan.
But, you know, I just wanted to express my gratitude. And I know things look tough right now. But, we still got each other.
I love you, Hassan.
On that note, you know what? Fuck it. I was gonna run an ad, but instead I'm just gonna raid Will. I'm not.
No, raid me! Raid me!
It's fine. I've done enough ads today. I think I'll be all right.
I'm just kidding. I knew he wasn't gonna do that. He doesn't know who I am. We met at that video where Nina Turner was speaking, but he doesn't know me.
Anyway.
And I met his
What time am I streaming
Janice
tomorrow?
Reed that
I
night.
mean,
She was
it's
tight.
3 a.m. I don't sleep in ever. Wait, what the fuck? It's not letting me raid.
Because you're supposed to raid me, homie. Come on, drop it.
What?
Drop the raid. Come on, give me that 110,000 people right now, bro. Come on, dude. You know I'd get like 50K subs out of that. Probably. Changed my life. Let's go.
Weird.
Oh, man.
You can't raid because too many viewers.
Oh, raid me. It's probably you need to raid somebody smaller than somebody like big like Will.
Will just started. Okay, well, I'm definitely running an ad then. All right. 3-minute ad break. You guys just got extra time with me.
I don't get ads because I'm a sub to Son.
And then I'll host Will after. Well, Will's on my auto host, so it just would automatically host him anyway, right? Holy shit, I didn't even know you can't raid if you have 100,000. That's crazy.
Why? Just lose 10.
Anyway.
Okay, it's dropping. Guys, lose 8K. 8K if you just leave. Go to Will Neff stream now. Or just come to me. Come on. Look, they're all leaving.
Oh.
Everybody's just leaving quickly.
As far as tomorrow.
Oh, it's at 117,000. What was I looking at? What the fuck? I thought it said 107,000. Why?
As far as tomorrow goes.
What?
I'm gonna try to wake up as quickly as possible. I can't sleep in too much anyway, so I'm probably gonna go to sleep. Hopefully now I'm gonna go jerk off real quick. See if I can pass out.
Gross, Hassan.
Afterwards. Oh, who am I kidding? There's no way I'm gonna be able to jerk off. I'm fucking falling asleep on camera right now. No, I'm gonna immediately pass the fuck out and wake up early probably. So I'll probably be live by like 11, if not 12.
Giving people stress and anxiety.
12 p.m.
I mean, if somebody even rated me with 100,
we'll
200, 500, 1,000
then.
people, I'd be stressed out as fuck. Your raid stressed me out. I remember when it was like 18 people or something. I was like, this is the biggest raid I've ever gotten. And today we got 3 tier 3 subs, dude. I've never gotten a tier 3 sub before ever. That shit is crazy. We have our first simp, and his name is Forth.
Yo,
Ultra
Aiden,
simp.
Will is on my auto host
simp in the
already.
best possible
Also, by the
way,
shout
not
out
in
to
that
fucking
shitty way
Mod-
where it's
greatest
like
mod
you're a
team
simp
in
if
the
you're
fucking planet,
just,
dude.
if you're respectful to
Literally.
women, but it's like you
What do we
love
have,
me, bro.
200,000?
I feel that, Forth. I know you're asleep,
200,000
probably
people in here.
deep
And I was
asleep,
still having
waiting for your
conversations
Zoom
with
call.
gray
But
names. I mean,
love
what
you, Forth.
other chat?
Is he still even in chat?
What other fucking
Sometimes he is
community
all
do you
night.
see
Yes,
the
he
streamer
is.
just like
He might be listening.
literally having fucking one-on-one arguments among 225,000 people? That's just crazy. That's just crazy. And wouldn't be able to do it without the moderators. Okay, I'm gonna host them.
You can't host him.
We got 17 seconds remaining on the last ad. Damn, DJ Khaled suffering from success. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for updates before I go, Hassan D. Piker is my Instagram. YouTube Hassan.
Nothing. Not going up at all. Still 67 in Nevada, too. Georgia, they thought was going to go fucking Biden, but it's looking like it's going to go Trump. Who knows, though? It's fucking 6% left reporting. North Carolina. How have... I remember I told my old boss right before COVID started, and all my coworkers, we were all sitting there talking about it. It was like right when Joe Biden was becoming the nominee, and we were also sitting there being like, yo, like Harvard's like shutting down school, and like so is Cal State. Do you think they're gonna shut down our school and our work? We're like, no. My boss was like, no, it's not gonna happen. They're just overreacting. And then the next day we were gone, out of school. Nobody was allowed to come back. But I told them all, I was like, I think Donald Trump's gonna win like 44 states in the election now that Joe Biden's the nominee. So I was wrong, and I'm happy about that. But we'll see. We'll see how many more of these he wins. Slated to win all these red ones. But they were like, maybe Joe Biden's got this and this, and probably not this anymore, but he's got this. So wait, let's see. Yeah, if he even wins these two, he's for sure good. But like Nevada, I don't know. I just don't see him winning. Like I could see him turning around in Pennsylvania, Michigan though. I don't know. Maybe.
But it is not mandatory, and it's basically...
Damn, Chuck Todd is still awake.
For the most part, it's all about what's left in here. In fact, let's look. Look, DeKalb, there's still
my ears hurt
plenty
from wearing
of
my
blue vote, if you will, in and around. We still got plenty of Fulton County. We know we had that error, that they had that absentee ballot issue, and they had, I think, a water main break and all this stuff.
Because 2020.
Of course. Let's welcome to 2020. And I believe here, there was also one other county down here where Albany State University,
me either. Fuck Chuck Todd, in my opinion. I fucking hate that guy.
It's a late morning here. I have it here. This is one where we are, there it is. This is one, a bunch of vote is left. This is Albany State University, historical Black College. The expectation is yet more places where Biden has vote to gain.
Hey,
so
Chuck, can I ask a
Georgia
question?
is something that we think
hey, Chuck, can I ask you something?
Really tight.
Just for like a regular person, that when you say there's a lot of vote that isn't in yet,
yes.
Does that mean that those are votes that were either mailed in, those are votes that are absentee, or do they just not calculate all the votes that were cast?
Right now, we don't know for sure. The Fulton County and Atlanta, we think. Now, look, this is our best estimate. You're asking. Everything in orange here is what we believe was the early vote. Everything in yellow is Election Day vote. We don't know what's out that is Election Day vote and what's out. All we can tell you is that we think there's another 400,000 ballots out. And we think a lot of it is in blue counties. So these aren't going to be 50-50 splits. These are going to, the question is, are they going to be 70-30? Are they going to be 80-20? And that will tell us how.
Do we know what the holdup is in Georgia? Because it's just been trickling in. It hasn't stopped. like some of the states just stopped overnight and went to bed, but Georgia's been trickling in.
It's trickling, but
and this has been true, one of the big stories in Florida has been Joe Biden's underperformance with Latino voters. Progressive allies of Biden were raising alarms about this over the summer. The Biden campaign did do a little bit more Latino outreach, but, he has really struggled on that front. And this has been true, beyond.
Bernie's immigration plan was written by immigrants, literally like some illegal, I hate the word illegal, but that's what they were written by undocumented immigrants. And then also DACA members. He was the only person that had that. Anything like that ever.
Florida, which is obviously such a key state, you're seeing Joe Biden improve upon Hillary Clinton's standing with white voters. You're seeing him improve upon her standing in the Midwest, but the Latino vote has really been a struggle for him, and Florida is a place where it could prove decisive. I mean, there's no call there yet, and I think looking at the map as we have it right now, there's no key state that's been decided yet, right? Every result we see there right now is predictable. But there are some early indications in Florida, particularly, as you were pointing out, Miami-Dade, that, are troubling for Biden. That being said, Biden seems to have a lot more potential paths to victory tonight. There are a lot of plausible ways he could win without Florida. For Trump, that state is simply vital. Florida and Pennsylvania are one.
Well, it is true that the Biden campaign did not do enough Latino outreach. And I say this as somebody that has been dating a Mexican-American woman for almost a decade now. She worked for the Bernie campaign. The Bernie campaign reached out in Nevada to local Latino organizers and hired them to run the campaign here, one of them being my girlfriend. And the Joe Biden campaign did not do that. None of the other Democratic campaigns did that either during the primary. It was only Bernie, and that's why he won by so great, because he just had people going out into their communities, people that lived in those communities, and talking to the people and telling them about Bernie and what he believed in. And they're like, oh, yeah. One thing I do have to say, though, is a lot of the Latino community that is going for Trump, and this is stuff coming directly from my girlfriend, is the Cuban community. And that is because back in the 80s, because of communism in Cuba, they were given special legalization, amnesty, as basic political pawns to show look, we're the freedom fighters against communism. We will let you come live here and give you amnesty and stuff. So a lot of Cuban people have this privilege complex that other Hispanic voters don't have. So that is somewhat of an anecdotal, but it's not just anecdotal. There's factual evidence to back it that is true. And then also just a lot of Latino people were infiltrated by QAnon. QAnon got to a lot of people, and the QAnon group really got to Latino males and older Cubans. Florida passed a $15 minimum wage by 22 points, and Biden lost the state by 3 points. In case you're wondering, his position is $15 minimum wage. Obvious conclusion, Democrats suck at making their own case. Very true. I'm going to bed. Biden has won Arizona. He's almost certainly going to win Wisconsin and Michigan as well, which is game over. Pennsylvania and Georgia would just be icing on the cake. Senate still in play. Likely comes down to 2 runoffs in GA. 29 USC is a great political source, man. That person. I don't know if it's a he or she, but they are amazing.
Not about office who just got a permission slip to cheat.
Here we go. This is a throwback to the primary when it was Bernie versus Joe Biden versus Mike Bloomberg. These are all Democrats, mind you. And this is the lady we saw speaking so beautifully in that video I showed a little bit ago, Nina Turner, Bernie's presumed vice president.
At least because I am standing up for you. So cry me a river for the wealthy people in this country.
You work for a candidate who's part of the 1%. I have no problem with criticizing the system. The system that allows Mike Bloomberg to make all the money that he makes, the system that allows him to buy what he wants to buy, the system that allows him to buy himself into the administration and buy himself into the debates is a problem. But to call him an oligarch, I think, is a misnomer in this environment. And again, you're working for somebody who's part of the 1%. Do you call him an oligarch? No, you don't. You say he's a rich
Bernie
guy.
is not a part of the 1%.
Somebody has a tremendous amount of money doesn't mean that they're not necessarily representing the people. And if you want to use the term elite, you can use whatever kind of term that you want to use. But at the end of the day, the enemy of this country, the enemy of the poor, is not just everybody who happens to be rich. It is a capitalistic system that abuses people. And if you want to speak about that, that's fine. But if you want to name call people, that's not going to help Bernie if he becomes a nominee. And he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money. If he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money down the road.
It's ironic that you're defending somebody that is buying his way through the democracy. Yes, you are. You are defending him
because that's how you guys operate. But when it comes to actually politics, it makes sense to actually describe people for the positions that they have.
Is this about a word? Is this about a word, Jason? Is this about a word?
No, it's not just about a word. It's about the implications of it, and it's about criticizing the system versus criticizing individuals. Like I said, I wouldn't call Bernie Sanders an oligarch, and he happens to be part of the 1%. I would say he's somebody who's wealthy.
And if Bernie is a part of the 1%, it's because of his. What I was just about to say is because of his fucking book sales.
78 years old. Okay, let me end this. I just want to bring, because I do like this debate because it's a debate, and I like debates. Number two, do you want to?
It's a debate, and this guy right here is a fucking debate lord who doesn't really believe in anything, but is trying to win a debate no matter what. And she's somebody who isn't a debate lord, but has strong moral convictions and is trying to express them to somebody who literally doesn't have any moral fiber, only wants to fucking win a debate.
Because it's a debate, and I like debates. Number two, do you want to change your words from all?
No, I'm not changing. He doesn't tell me what to say and how to change my words. My words stand.
Well, Brian, it's back to you. I think that's the decisive conclusion of this back and forth. Your thoughts?
Can I say something about
Please,
Jason Johnson, a frequent guest on my show? I think this is a really important debate, and I'm really glad you didn't let it get boiled down to the use of a word. It is not about a word. Here's the other enemy, and I understand different views about the system. The enemy is the guy in the Oval Office who thinks there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville. Yes. The enemy is a guy in the Oval Office who just got a permission slip to cheat in presidential elections. Yes. The enemy is a guy.
That's it for election result updates until 9 a.m. on November 5th. Here's what's been counted so far. Wow, Nevada. They're not even going to count them today. They're going to count them at 9 a.m. on Monday? Or on Thursday? Are you kidding me?
On Democrats. Guys, Biden is president, but the Democrats don't have the Senate. Oh, recipe for disaster. That we will get absolutely nothing done, and it'll all be blamed on Democrats. There's no way that Biden has the strength to overpower a Republican Senate. No way.
In the middle of an economic collapse.
What's that, Nando?
That's the real. In the middle of an economic collapse. I mean, that's the real nightmare, right? Because the economic collapse requires like massive stimulus, which the Republicans will just be happy to block every single time, and the Democratic administration will be blamed, fueling a right-wing backlash more furious than the last one. That's the nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, let me finish the nightmare for you. It is inconceivable that Biden is strong enough to rhetorically beat the Republicans into submission. Inconceivable. And that means absolutely nothing gets done unless Mitch McConnell is thrilled to do it, which means Mitch McConnell is president, but all the things that go wrong will be blamed on Biden and the Democrats, setting up a smart fascist coming around this time in 2024.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. And that's what I've been saying, is that if Biden wins, all that's going to do is make an even stronger Trump come along in 4 years, whether or not that's Trump running again in 4 years or somebody who's even smarter and more organized than Trump. Because what Cenk just said, nothing is going to get done under a Democratic president, especially if the Senate is against him. But even if the Senate's with him at certain times when it was with Obama, like still not much got done for the working class people. It was still a lot of like bailouts for corporate interests and things like that were going on, not going after people that caused the recession in the financial industry, just letting them all off, things like that. So it doesn't even take not having a Democratic Senate with you to not get anything done. But yeah, having a Democratic president with a Republican Senate, dude. Nothing's going to get done, but we're going to get blamed for it, and all the voters are going to be Republican next time. Because they're going to be like, Democrats suck.
And then brace for impact. So we got to talk about what we can do about that as progressives, because we might have to go to war way quicker than we imagined, because I didn't have them not winning the Senate on the board. And we also have to, here, let's jump into this right now. Nando, what happened here? Okay, we know Democrats didn't run as strong, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, why did the polling tell us that Cal Cunningham was gonna win, as an example, and that Biden had much more comfortable leads in the Midwest, et cetera? The Midwest is still up in the air, so it's hard to tell what's actually gonna happen. Was the polling just wrong again? Or what is this Trump unlikely voter thing real? Can Democrats do likewise? What's your first take on what happened?
Well, it strikes me as that the support that there is amongst for Democrats is just kind of soft, if that makes sense. Like, it's like if people are asked, then yeah, they prefer the Democrats, but it's not solid support. It's not support that motivates people to go out to the polls. It's not, as the American electorate becomes more and more polarized and people kind of retreat into their tribal camps or whatever, elections become all about riling up your base and turnout, and so when people are asked the question and posed to them, they're like, yeah, I don't like Trump, and yeah, sure, I'll tick the box for the other guy. But if you don't give those people any reason to go out and actually do a positive act of voting, then they won't do it. I mean, I remember in 2018, I'm from Florida, like we all thought Andrew Gillum was gonna win. We all thought Bill Nelson was gonna win, and they lost to Rick Scott. Rick Scott, who was the governor of Florida, responsible for the largest Medicare fraud in the history of America, and the most unpopular governor in America at the time, wins the Senate race. And despite the polls showing that Nelson had a decent lead. I just think that the support for Democrats, because they don't campaign positively for an agenda that people actually want to vote for, they just kind of vote. They just kind of run this prevent defense, to use like a football analogy. They're in the lead. There's more Democrats in America than there are Republicans. That's true. As long as they don't do anything too terrible, they're going to win the elections. And the polling, that's what it says. But elections are about riling up your base and getting them out to the polls, inspiring them in some way. I mean, that's why Obama won comfortably, because for all his flaws, people liked voting for Obama. It felt like a cool thing to do, to vote for Obama.
That was the thing, is he didn't have flaws in the beginning. He was this perfect progressive candidate in the beginning. Then his flaws came after he was elected, a first and second time. But at first he was like, oh my God, this is literal hope and change right here.
So they went out and did it twice, even though Democrats lost everywhere else in the midterms and things like that. They liked voting for Obama. It was like a positive act. But the Democrats haven't offered their voters basically anything since then. They're just kind of now running this shadow campaign in which we're like, we're not as bad as the other guy. The other guy's terrible. All that's true, but we're not really going to offer you anything your life is not going to improve meaningfully. The downward trajectory is just going to continue. We're just going to manage it slightly more competently than the other guys, and that's just not going to win you elections in the long run. It's going to give you a decent polling lead because people hate right-wing politics. They hate the Republicans. I think the vast majority of Americans do that, but they don't have an alternative that is inspiring enough for people to go out and actually vote for. The support is just kind of soft.
So I like that theory. So John, what do you think of the Nando theory that the polls are off, not because there's anything wrong with their science or statistics, but they're off because it's not measuring base enthusiasm enough in terms of voter turnout?
I think that there's something definitely to it that I mean, look, they ask questions about enthusiasm. Those are words that can mean a lot of different things. Can they necessarily grasp how flaccid the support for a particular candidate can be? No, probably not. So I definitely think that Nando's onto something, that the lack of passion is a part of it. But let's also bear in mind that there are some particular things about this race. I mean, pollsters are trying to, like, you're either getting a registered voter thing or a likely voter thing. And generally the polls that people are focusing on are the likely voter polls. And trying to decipher who is a likely voter in this particular election, Donald Trump's re-election, and in the midst of a pandemic that is gonna have far more early voting than ever before, is gonna be more difficult because, look, there was a ton of early voting, but what you also had, in theory, was a couple of weeks of news about how much early voting there was and how it was skewed for the Democrats. And so we don't know for sure if that might have had an effect on some Republicans' day of, that maybe after hearing for weeks that, oh my God, the Biden vote is really coming in, maybe they're a little bit more likely to vote. I honestly don't know. I think it's probably a combination of both of those things. Biden is not a candidate that's inspiring a lot of really strong support. And also, this is a wacky year.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you.
President Trump just made his biggest false claim yet. He declared, frankly, we did win this election, when there are millions and millions of ballots that are still yet to be counted and many important states that have yet to be called electorally. In another maskless event at the White House that actually violates federal law because he's not supposed to have campaign events at the White House, he made a number of false and baseless claims throughout his speech. He started it by saying that a very sad group of people, referring to Democrats, are trying to disenfranchise his supporters. I want to say this plainly, and I'm not the only one saying this, but journalists and newsrooms everywhere, as well as voting rights advocates and election law experts, are trying to explain this to people, that what Democrats are trying to do is get all of the votes counted, period. That's it. They're not trying to disenfranchise anybody or discount any ballots, but that is exactly what President Trump is baselessly claiming that they are doing. He also claimed that he won Georgia, which has not yet been called, as well as North Carolina. He's trying to muddy the waters and make his supporters believe that he is winning fair and square, so that when we do get the final vote tally, his supporters may believe that that's actually an illegitimate win. Journalists across the nation, again, newsrooms, have been trying to prepare for this for days. Trump has broadcast his strategy about casting doubt on the legitimacy of this election all year long. And actually, if you take a step back and go back to 2016, when he lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes to Hillary Clinton, he declared those votes to be illegitimate and illegal as well, without any evidence. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that the president is doing this tonight. But after 4 years in the White House, it still should be shocking to people that he is making this baseless claim. I also want to recap for you what former Vice President Joe Biden said earlier tonight, about almost 2 hours before President Trump came out. Biden addressed his supporters in Delaware and said very clearly, asked his supporters to be patient, wait for all the votes to be counted, and said, I'm pulling up the quote, sorry. He said, "It is not I or President Trump who decides who wins the election. It is the American people who decide who wins the election." So Joe Biden has been very clear that it's not his place or any candidate's place to call it, and he plans on updating his supporters throughout the day tomorrow as ballots are still being counted. Trump talked a lot about the margins that he's ahead by in key states like Pennsylvania, but there are millions of ballots that are still yet to be counted in Pennsylvania. Earlier, a Philadelphia Inquirer reporter said actually 2.2 million mail-in ballots are yet to be counted in Pennsylvania. Now, if you remember, in 2016, President Trump managed to win the Electoral College by 79,000 votes across 3 Midwestern states. And those states are still 3 of the states that we're talking about today. They're still incredibly important. So with a margin of just some 79,000 votes that he was able to get an Electoral College victory from, shows you the importance of the remaining millions and millions of ballots that still have yet to be counted. That could make a huge difference in this election. It will certainly tilt the results one way or another, and President Trump does not have evidence that these votes are in his favor. 3 of the states that we're watching again, that we were watching in 2016, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And we're also watching the state of Georgia, which has yet to be called. Atlanta and Fulton County are still counting their ballots, and we should be able to get those results tomorrow. Wisconsin election officials said that we should have final counts out of Milwaukee by 6 a.m. So just in 4 hours, or by the time you wake up tomorrow, we should have results from Wisconsin. Pennsylvania officials say their count may actually be the slowest one of all. It may take all the way until Friday, but they are continuing to count all throughout Wednesday, and they will provide updates. The race in Georgia has tightened, and Biden is projected to have a narrow lead there, so he could still win that state, which would be important in adding his electoral votes. So we want to pay attention to the legal challenges that Republicans make in courts if they try to take this to the courts and invalidate certain ballots. We at Now This will be sure to bring you all the latest with that. We had an interview with voting rights lawyer Mark Elias today, and we'll be touching base with him tomorrow, I'm sure, to bring you the latest news on that front. So as we close out the night, what I want to say is I just want to urge you to be patient. Trust what election officials say, trust what news organizations say, pay attention to the legal challenges to invalidate ballots, pay attention to the side that is asking for all votes to be counted, as we are in a democracy, and please try to keep that faith in our democracy. A majority of the American people still believe in our democracy, and we just have to keep making sure that our voices are heard throughout the rest of the week. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with us all throughout the night and this late, early morning. Please get some sleep, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you tomorrow.
I really can't believe they ran back the exact same fucking strategy that didn't work in 2016.
It's funny that this is the reason that a lot, particularly of older black voters, wanted Biden to be the nominee. He is the kind of candidate who could do the best with white working class voters that a Democrat could possibly do, which is not that great, but better, obviously, than Hillary Clinton. And, you know, Obama was able to win there. So, I mean, he's got a white working class sensibility, but he's also appealing to what we're calling the wine moms. And it is interesting that if the story...
We're calling them the wine moms?
They're called the wine moms.
I missed this.
Have you missed this? These are the moms these are college-educated white women who voted in huge numbers in 2018, who flipped the House back to the Democrats, and who are still mad. Like, they haven't expended all of their energy and anger.
They're also the women that Trump is calling out to when he's bellowing about suburban women, like me, want me. They're the same voters in Ohio.
Put those with black voters, and those are the states that have lots of African Americans and lots of those wine moms, he can do well.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from
Doesn't look like it.
Entire country. You can get away with Bush v. Gore type thievery, but you can't. The justices are playing the long game. Okay, if they, try to steal this election, which would be like just monstrous, and that's like a level of thievery that you just can't really get away with without just totally destabilizing the entire country. You can get away with Bush v. Gore type thievery, but you can't get away with robbing Biden of the victory when he wins by double digits. The idea that, okay, we'll just throw Trump to the wolves, and then we'll look moderate then, and this will give us the political capital to do what we really want to do, to roll back Casey, to roll back the Commerce Clause.
I don't think that there is a difference in kind, only degree, between what happened in 2000 and what is very likely to happen this time around. And you say, well, I don't think that they could be so flagrant as to ignore a landslide from Joe Biden. The risk is that no one knows, no one can prove it was a Joe Biden landslide because they've gotten rid of so many ballots or have declined to count so many ballots that they are able to plausibly argue that it was close and that Trump, again, won the Electoral College. So my prediction is short, and it is to say that I think that there is a possibility that Joe Biden, given the enormous volume of early votes and the number of people who I still think who are Democrats who plan to vote the day of, that Joe Biden can still maybe win on election night. But if it goes beyond that, if there is any kind of ambiguity, if it goes to a court battle, that Donald Trump is going to stay president, because I don't see Democrats mounting the kind of opposition that would be necessary to prevent a redux of 2000.
We shall see. Going to sleep. This is a catastrophe. Don't know what the final result will be, but this is a catastrophe. Anyone who tells you otherwise isn't being straight with you. Think about where we thought we were 24 hours ago and where we are now. This is very bad. Very true. With somebody like Donald Trump, as racist and horrible as he is, it should be a blowout victory. But it's not, because there's a part of the country that is infatuated with him, and two, because the Democratic Party is a party of failures that don't know how to win. Unless they have somebody like Barack Obama who will straight up just lie to everybody and say he's the most progressive person that's ever walked the face of the earth and doesn't have much of a history to scrutinize. Oh, man.
We expected big gains in the House. We expected to take the Senate.
I'll be right back.
We didn't get big gains in the House, and the Senate is still in question, but the chances look dim.
Well, what do you say about that, Claire? Because, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of folks sitting at home saying, hey, all I've been seeing are these polls that show Democrats ahead. It was going to be a big night for Democrats. Frankly, as I was discussing with Casey, Republicans thought that too. Yeah. So, you know, from the Democrats' perspective, what went wrong?
Well, I have to believe this has to do with the American people, a large swath of them, more than I ever realized, accept this guy's behavior. They've gotten comfortable with the, I call it the outrage fatigue, him breaking norms, campaigning in the White House, lying a lot. And they've looked past all that, and he has convinced them, right or wrong, he's convinced them that somehow he's going to be the one that protects their income, the economy, the creation of jobs. And I think that's what won the day yesterday. And his behavior, which we all thought was disqualifying for the president of the greatest country on the earth, but evidently not so much. Now, I still believe he's not going to be president for another 4 years. I still believe that we will win this election. But this only was a wake-up call.
Rich, let me ask you, because you wrote a really interesting article in the National Review, I guess about a week ago, and you said if Trump wins, if he's able to prevail, it will be because Americans have just basically said it was the only way they could rebel against what you call, and you are a conservative writer, this kind of left elite culture, that it would be about the culture above all other issues. Is that how you're seeing it still?
Yeah, I think that has to be a huge element of it. You know, a key theory of Trump and his team was that there's a silent majority out there. Now, it's not a silent majority literally, but it's a silent plurality that might be enough to get him to 270 again. And it's folks that some of them were ducking and covering. They weren't talking to pollsters. And they were deeply uncomfortable with things that were happening in the country all year long, from the disorder to the cancellations. And they were there again for this president and for the GOP more broadly. There was a Republican surge across the board in the United States of America that was missed by most of the polls and that was missed by the pundits. And just to think, again, we've basically, I don't know whether Trump's going to win, but we've experienced a kind of 2016 once again, which everyone thought would have been impossible. And we even had the equivalent of the Access Hollywood tape, which in 2016 seemed something that Trump couldn't possibly recover from. That the equivalent of that this time around was him getting COVID, where his polls tanked, Republicans around the country, their numbers tanked. It wasn't just the public polls and the media polls, it was internal Republican polls showed everyone taking a dive. And amazingly enough, the president recovered. And a big element of it, and I think this is something Democrats have to think about, Joe Biden, I think, was overly passive. And this wouldn't have happened if Trump hadn't been so active, if he hadn't had those big rallies, and if he hadn't especially invested so much in a traditional get-out-the-vote operation. Biden was investing in TV. The Trump team was investing in door-knocking and phone calls and turning their voters out, and they did it in an extraordinary way.
Well, Rich, I appreciate that you're always a straight shooter. I wonder what you thought of the president's comments last night, because look, as we've just been discussing, this is a very lively, still going presidential race. There's no need for anyone to declare victory yet. The president may just win it fair and square. What did you think about him coming out and saying, oh, it's been stolen from me, I already won it, I'm going to sue? Did that seem unnecessary?
Yeah, unnecessary. One, it's the kind of thing you do when you're losing, and I don't think they believe that they're losing. And it was just irresponsible for a president of the United States. Obviously, all I had to say is, look, we shocked the world. We think we're on the right path, and I'm going to vigorously protect my interest in the courts if it comes to that. And I think you saw, Savannah, the discomfort of some folks around Trump with this tack through the fact that Mike Pence, when he stepped up to the podium right after the president, he didn't say, oh, we won, guys. You know, he said we're on the path to victory, which is the more conventional way to put it, and it would have been better if the president said that as well.
Hey, Rich, when you look at our map that we have up right now, we've got Biden with 224 electoral votes. We've got Trump with 213. What are your people saying? Like, what states do you think Trump is going to take, and do you think he can take this whole thing?
Well, it just is a mix and match game at this point, and if Trump wins Arizona and Georgia, then he just needs one of the blue walls. If he loses one of those, he needs two. Loses both, he needs three, and/or Nevada, which is another piece of the puzzle. So he's close, but it's probably going to take a couple days to figure this out, as everyone's noted.
Stand by there. Chuck, I had a question because I was thinking about the 2016 polls being way off, the 2020 polls appearing to be way off. The 2018 midterms, now there's a time where the polls seem to basically get it right. They predicted that Democrats would have big gains in the Congress. Sure enough, they did.
Yeah.
Is the X factor here Donald Trump?
Has to be.
When Donald Trump is on the ballot, pollsters just
Right.
still don't know how to capture the Trump voter in a poll?
It is, look, and in fairness, in 2018, there was the blue wave in the House, but if you recall, the Republicans gained a Senate seat.
Yeah.
Now, it was a terrible Senate map for Democrats. It was a really, it was sort of a red-leaning Senate map, certainly for Republicans, but that's an important point. And the fact is, the polls did miss. I mean, ask Claire McCaskill. The polls struggled in, I think, where there is a significant chunk of this Trump base, where there's significant rural vote, this is where the pollsters are struggling. One of our polling teams, our state polling teams, identified one of the problems that's there. It's a technical issue when it comes to polling these rural counties, and it's there. But the real issue is it costs real money to do it right, and it's really expensive to do it right, I think. And nobody is spending that money. But no, we're not figuring out how to poll these rural counties better. I think they're all not. We are not accounting for enough of this Trump vote. It's like it just keeps showing up. I remember in 2016 we kept saying in Florida, no matter how her turnout went, his turnout in the rural areas was there, and that's what we saw here. It was a little more sporadic this time. There were places where Biden did pick off some of his. So this is why I'm saying this isn't a blue wave. This isn't a red wave. This is basically a brick. We're meeting at 270. Somebody's going to end up with a little bit more. But this is, in the Electoral College is concerned, and look at the popular vote. And it's going to end up being maybe 3.5 points. It's not going to be 10.
It was all calm and quiet at the polling places, I was thinking, and I woke up this morning and everyone was wondering because things are boarded up. It's calm and quiet. And Claire, I guess I was just wondering, how are you guys conveying to people, this is going to be a long slog for people. And the one thing we all need, all of us need, is to be calm and to wait until these votes are counted. Is there a way that you guys are communicating with people?
Well, I think what
Sorry about that.
Everyone should try to focus on is that
I had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to be wearing all that stuff while I went to the bathroom. So I took it all off, and it took me a little bit of time. I cleaned up all the food that I had chilling here.
But the law is there.
Sorry about that.
We'll make decisions if, in fact, this comes down to legal battles. Lawyers will argue. The Supreme Court will ultimately decide. And I just hope people have patience in the institutions that America has always been proud of, even if Donald Trump doesn't necessarily respect them.
Senator McCaskill, when you look at this map this morning, and I'm giving you the 6 a.m. truth serum, what is giving you pause? What's worrying you this morning about the results that are coming in?
Not done yet. I need to get some water.
Well, I think obviously we're worried about Pennsylvania because the margin there is difficult in terms of all the votes. There's millions of votes to be counted still, no question. I actually feel very comfortable about both Nevada and Arizona. I feel very comfortable about Wisconsin and Michigan. The question is, what happens with the remaining three? And but I actually believe that there will be some states that there'll be legal skirmishes because I think it's going to be that close.
Well, I mean, I don't have the map memorized like my friend Chuck does, but Rich, I believe if Biden could hold on to Wisconsin and Michigan, pick up Arizona, and we've already projected that he's going to pick up that single-digit electoral vote in Nebraska. That would get him, I think, to 270 on the dot, negating Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Right. So if Biden wins Arizona and Nevada and doesn't get Georgia, Trump needs more than Pennsylvania. And it seems to me, I'm no Chuck Todd either, although I did, like Chuck, take a nap 45-minute nap a little bit
That's like a
earlier.
thing now.
Better
It's
than you,
more
Rich.
than Pennsylvania. And it seems like of those three, as was kind of projected, Pennsylvania is probably the one where Trump is in the strongest position. But it could be, if Biden wins Arizona, that Pennsylvania is not enough, and it'll be really close. And he would need Michigan to get to 270, and that, or Wisconsin. We need one more, not just Pennsylvania.
All right, well, no sleep for the weary. Everybody's just got to stand by because there are millions of votes to be counted, many, many states to be called. We continue to watch it. We'll throw up that electoral map and let people take a look. If you're just waking up, this is where it stands this morning. Joe Biden with 224 electoral votes, 213 for President Trump. But those battleground states in gray, that is where this race will be decided. Votes
What?
still being
NBC
counted.
hasn't counted
We will
Arizona
continue our
yet?
live breaking coverage, but first on a Wednesday morning.
Even
the day after
Google's
the
counting
election, this is
Arizona.
today.
But it's still only 84% reporting. That's interesting. Well, a lot of them are still only partially reported. Of course, that's how every election is, man.
Or on election day. Each state has its
Oh
own
no,
set
God,
of
oh
rules
my
for
God.
the
I
way
thought
we cast our
Michigan went blue.
It's a little confusing. That's why we have to figure it out now.
Take 15 minutes and plan your vote.
ASAP.
In some places, the polls are already open. Go!
Make sure your voice is heard.
Plan your vote. Plan your vote.
Plan.
Who the fuck is this? There. Is No Miki still alive? I doubt it. No. I just want to start seeing if there's any JRE clips. Oh wait, why did I go with that first? Of this tonight's podcast already. Yes, there are. Cool. Not many. What?
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience are now free on Spotify.
That's funny. Go back to Twitter for a minute. Anything new? All right, let's see the results. Anything different? We're not going to know. 89%. I think that's gone up a little bit. Ooh, what? That's way closer. Joe Biden's gone up. That hasn't moved. Oh, Joe Biden's gone up here. Okay. Okay. We're not going to find out Nevada till Thursday, they said. So fuck them. Fuck my state. All right, chat. We're not going to find out the results tonight. We don't know. I still think Trump's going to win. We'll see, though. Yeah, let's watch that. Let's see what else we can find.
Murder of unarmed black men has been an American way.
All right, yeah, we're going to get out of here. See you guys later.